Hi, welcome to Gulf Coast Kitchen. I'm Pam Johnson, and I have a special guest today, my granddaughter Jaden.
Hi.
So today we are going to make a recipe out of the cookbook that we have, the Gulf Coast Shrimp Corn Dogs. And we'll make the corn dogs, but first we're going to make our mustard Creole sauce. So Jaden's going to help me with the sauce. So what you'll need first is you need your blender. And Jaden, if you'll hand me the green onions. So you're going to take a quarter cup of green onions and put them in your blender. And then I need the chopped celery. I need 2 tablespoons of chopped celery. Thank you. 2 tablespoons of parsley. There we are. 2 tablespoons of horseradish. That'll be this one. See, and you got to teach them while they're in the kitchen. All right, we're going to do our little horseradish there. And then we're going to put ketchup. There's our ketchup. Good girl. All right. Put your ketchup in. Okay, we need the mustard, the Creole mustard. Either one, it doesn't matter. It's our Creole mustard. And then we're going to put our regular mustard in. And it's getting a little messy over here. All right. So I'm going to put all this in. Okay, and then it calls for 1 tablespoon of vinegar. Got my white vinegar here. Thank you. And 2 teaspoons of lemon juice. Three-quarters of a teaspoon of paprika. And then your minced garlic. 1 clove of minced garlic goes in. And last but not least, 1/8 of a teaspoon of salt. Once you have all your ingredients in your blender, what you're going to do is you're going to put your lid on. I'm going to turn it this way. I need the oil, please. And we're going to start blending this. So it's going to get loud, but as we blend it, we're going to add our oil to it very slowly. And I like to stop it in the middle and just kind of work the sides down a little bit, make sure everything's blending up together and not just in the center. Because it's not a ton of mustard sauce, but it is a fair amount. We'll want this to blend for a couple of minutes. And as it blends, all right, let's stop that. And let's go ahead. I didn't want to take it out but until we were ready, but let's grab our 1 egg. We're going to add our egg in. And that's going to finish it off. All right, and get the lid for here. Turn this on. Uh-oh, that would be a blooper. Okay. Oh, that's bad. Okay, we're going to try something else because that's not going to work. We just blew up our our food blender. I don't know how we did that, but we did. All right. So, Jaden, when stuff like that happens, what would you do next? What do you think I should do? Why don't we grab this? Oh my gosh. Let's grab this and let's put our blender back together. Watch your foot. And what we're going to do is we're going to connect our food processor. And we're going to put this together. Watch that, that's really sharp. All right, let's put that in here. So since we kind of blew this up, we're going to move everything into the food processor. Here we go. I think it'll come out just fine. All right, oh, there goes a little mustard. Okay. So we'll set that off to the side. And we'll get the lid, put the lid on. All right. And everything's nice and handy. Okay. We're going to start it again. Looking better. And you're going to want to blend this for about a minute or two. Get it really nice and emulsified. All right. There. We salvaged that. So we're going to put our mustard sauce. I'm going to let you take the mustard sauce and put this in the fridge. Why don't you go ahead and empty this out into that bowl, and I'll get rid of this. Pour that in your bowl. And that's going to be your corn dog mustard sauce. So when you're making an entree and it calls for a sauce, you want to make sure that your sauce really knocks it out of the ballpark. Otherwise, everything kind of just gets lost. So this mustard sauce, even though we had a little glimpse with our blender, it is an excellent mustard sauce, and you're really going to like it. All right. So she's going to put this in the fridge. I'll take that, and if you'll put that in the fridge, and we'll let that set in the fridge while we do our corn dogs. We've got our mustard sauce in the fridge. We got the mustard off my shirt, and we're ready to start back on the corn dogs. You ready?
Yeah.
Okay. So what we're going to do is we take our cornmeal, which is about 3/4 cups of cornmeal, and 1/3 of flour, some baking soda, and salt. And I put it on this glass plate for presentation, but I think in order to get it into this jar that we're going to use to dip our shrimp in, I'm going to put everything on this paper plate so I can bend it. So it's just better start off with a paper plate, and you can bend your plate. You want to bend it? You want to help me bend that? Here we go. And let's pour that in. Pour that in our jar. All right. Good job. Okay, and then what we need to do next is we're going to add our water. You can add the water to it. And you can add our buttermilk. And a little bit of honey. And this, you might want to just scoop it out with this. That kind of makes it easier and pour it in there. So while she's making the batter for the corn dogs, what we're going to do, I already have them skewed up, but I want to show you how to cut your shrimp. So you're going to take large shrimp, and you're going to peel them, devein them, and you're going to start at the top, but don't cut through. You're going to start about right here, and you're going to work your way back to the tail, and you're going to cut through. When you cut through, you're going to end up with the piece that's going to look like this. And this, at this time, if you still see some of the vein in there, you could always remove that at this point. Mm-hmm. So we have now we have our shrimp probably about 5 inches long, and you're going to take a wet skewer, and then you'll start skewering the shrimp. You just skewer it on here, and then you got them ready. Okay, let's take that in. Okay, here I'm going to let you use this. Let me give you. Let's take that out. What I want you to do now is I want you to use this, and I want you to really mix it up. And if your batter is not like you would see on corn dogs, what you want to do is we'll just add a little bit more water. So let me grab some water for you, Jayden. I don't think it's to the right consistency. It almost needs to look like a pancake batter. And so while Jaden's going to mix that up, what we're going to do is we have our flour, and we're going to season our flour with some salt and pepper. And we're going to mix that up a little bit. And now we're ready to roll our shrimp lightly. Just roll our shrimp in here. You can do 2, 3, 4 at a time, whatever it takes. All right. You just put a little flour on them. And then Jaden, once you want to put the flour on these, you start flouring those, dusting them with flour, and then set them over here. And then we're going to take our batter. Take your batter, and I like to use a mason jar, or it doesn't have to be a jar. It can be a container, any kind of container that you can put the shrimp in, kind of dust off, knock off some of that batter, and it's going to look about like this. And then just start adding them into your, we're going to use a fry daddy, and our fry daddy is set at 350 degrees. So we're going to start frying. I'll move this over here. And you don't have to do these one at a time. I've done these before at cooking presentations and for large groups, and I'll put all 4 of them in there. You just want to make sure that they get coated well. Put them in. There we go. Pull them out. You can pull them out one at a time. It looks good. And once they are, it doesn't take very long to fry these up. You can get these done probably in about, I've already got one that looks like it's about, the first one that I put in is about ready to come out. So we have that here. And set this here. You can, your picture, here we go. We're going to get a paper towel. And as they fry up, here we go. First one's ready. We're going to place these on the platter, and once we get them all fried, they'll be ready to serve them up. And we like to serve ours with some charro beans and some coleslaw. So the recipe is on the Texas Saltwater Fishing Magazine cooking page, and it's under the Texas Gulf Shrimp Corn Dog recipe. You can find this recipe and many more there. They're quick, they're easy, they're simple, but they're always good. So thanks for helping me out, Jaden, and thanks for joining us.